Each month, Annie and I host a deeper dive, which is a live Q&A with an expert in the field of lactation, business, or personal development. The following snippet is from our most recent deeper dive. We hope you enjoy.
We're really grateful to our guest today, Allison Alexander, who came in to just really help us tackle this big topic. Allison, thank you for really just jumping in. All of this tongue tie stuff happened kind of so quickly and really blindsided all of us, although we should have seen it coming. What we're talking about today is the debate over tongue tie. And I'm using the word debate not to validate that it's a debate or that we're arguing about the existence of tongue ties. What we are talking about is the way that other members of the healthcare team seemed like they want it to be a debate. They want to put us on the other side of in some ways, conversation they're having with themselves in their own head. And it's like, we're not having the same conversation as you that you think we are having with you. So we thought that Allison would be a great person to have on to talk about this because she and her partner in her private practice at Skilled Lactation Solutions wrote a letter to the pediatricians in their community, which is now available to purchase on their website.
So tell us a little bit about what prompted you to write this letter and how this whole conversation that we have today came about.
Yeah, so I was on vacation and kind of really trying to be unplugged, but that's not the way the universe decided this was going to go. So the clinical report came out from the AAP, and then it was just that constant pinging of Instagram, and everybody was kind of freaking out about it. And have you read it? And what's your take? So I read it first and kind of digested it. And my perspective was more from that nursing background and kind of seeing I've played the game in the medical system for quite a while and could kind of read some of the underlying themes that I think if you're not part of that system you might miss some of that. So kind of my takeaway from the clinical report is what we were reading versus the headlines we were getting were not the same. And so many of the things in the clinical report, I actually agreed with as a lactation provider. But then the headlines were AAP no longer recommends frenectomy, and AAP says, tongue ties are fake, and all these things that weren't necessarily in the clinical report. It was inflammatory snippets that were being pulled out. And so I knew, and I'm sure we've all had this experience, that the snippets were what were going to be taken. And when our families that we are working with are in front of their pediatricians, the snippets are going to be what is kind of regurgitated out at them. You don't need this. This isn't a thing. The AAP says so. So it was my way of kind of taking a deep breath while not answering 100 DMs of I'm just gonna, address this in a way that's professional, concise, and in the spirit of what the AAP clinical report said, which was that this needs to be a team approach. This needs to be a comprehensive approach, that a full, thorough evaluation of the dyad needs to take place. All great things, right? We need to support exclusive nursing for 6 months, continued nursing through 2 years. Love all that. That's not really the vibe that they give as an organization, but that is what their statement said. So in this letter, it was basically our way of saying, really agree with all of this team approach talk. Can't wait to be a part of your team. Here's our approach to oral restrictions as a practice, which includes all of the things the AAP said are required during this process. If you need help making referrals to us easier, please let us know. We'd be happy to facilitate that, with love, Skilled Lactation Solutions. So it was very much like a tongue-in-cheek letter. We have no expectation of them actually doing it. If it's not going to change what they do or their practice. But I do know that when their patients are in my office and said, well, my pediatrician says that I'm not supposed to get body work because it's bad. Actually, the AAP said that it's helpful for latching. So that's interesting, that's their perspective. And we actually reached out to your pediatrician when this came out and we asked to collaborate and work with them, and we never got a response. So from our perspective, it's kind of we extended the olive branch to be a team And if that's not what they're interested in doing, like that's not our problem.
If you enjoyed that snippet, the good news is that deeper dive was recorded. And by joining our membership community, you can have access to that deeper dive as well as our entire vault of deeper dives going back through 2020. You will also be automatically invited to our live monthly deeper dives, so you can ask the experts directly all the questions you want to know about that topic. We look forward to seeing you at our next deeper dive.